Yeah, another video. Welcome. Throwing this in here. A lot of people ask in a lot of ways. I brought this up before about when the primary source is away, the narcissist will play. Okay, they're gonna do some playing if especially if you're not around, and that could be short term, long term type of period of being away from them. Hell, it could be you going to work and being away from them for at least 8 hours out the day. Whenever you are away and out of their presence, they are playing. Okay, they are entertaining, engaging with other prospects of supply. Okay, or they're doing things that would violate the agreement or the union that what you guys have together, which you would consider quote unquote a relationship, which we don't call that in this community. We call it transactions. But that's what's going on, and you can be assured that the narcissist is basically, and I said this before, that when you're not around them, there's definitely a duality in two faces. When you're not around them, there's a totally different way that they're acting and presenting themselves without your presence. Okay, when you're around them, they snap back into the idolize the idolize the idolization role that they're playing to for you to behold as acceptable, right? The person that many of you fall in love with and come to entrust a lot of your information and stuff like that and your life with, right? So you have to realize that person doesn't exist. Completely fake, phony. There's no realness to them, but they have to play the role as long as you are around and in their presence. When you're not, they're, you know, fooling around, sneaking around with other sources, engaging and entertaining different sources that they can possibly get to. Now, this happens because the primary source is basically the caretaker. They're the master caretaker of this individual who is the narcissist, or if they're not in that position and the narcissist has and is able to provide for themselves, the primary is the main one, which you would call the main significant person that they are interacting with, and that individual is um, taken for granted, uh, first and foremost, a lot quicker than the secondary sources. The primary source is abused more. The primary source is, you know, in other words, the immediate extension of the narcissist. And in this role and in this position with them, you'll come to find that you're the individual that they use to, you can say, to regulate their emotions, to regulate when they're feeling bad, when they had a bad time, when they had a bad day. You're going to be the emotional punching bag for them, or the person that they take all of this stuff out. Even if they're having going or getting into it with other sources, secondary sources of supply, they're going to always take it out on the primary. That becomes your functioning. You're the emotional dump that they use you for, and or the financial uh, uh, piggy bank that they go to. Either way, you're being used the most as a primary source. You're being abused the most as a primary source. And when you are not around them, they are playing. They are engaging in activities and other things that would violate and compromise whatever you guys have going with them. So many people feel as though, well, I don't think that they've done anything, and they may not physically cheat. with some of these secondary sources, but their activities are unethical with them, put it that way. And if you're not aware of that, if you know, especially a lot of people who choose to go back to them, if you're in that position as a primary, that is the worst. This is where the fun stops. See, most of the time through the love bombing stage, you haven't been groomed to the point of being positioned as the primary source yet. So it's fun. And that's how they are with all other sources of supply. They're fun, they're outgoing, they're easy to get along with, all of this stuff because you don't really know them, right? You don't, they may need you to stick around a lot longer at a certain point of time. So at this point, when you're at that stage of being groomed and being tested to see how suitable of a source that you may become for them long term, they can't run you away. They can't scare you away at this point, right? So this is why it's they stay captivating and intriguing to you, and they're on their best behavior during the love bombing stage. But once you become the primary, you become the caretaker essentially to them, or the emotional punching bag, whatever they need to, to use to, get their rocks off. Basically, some are sadistic and masochists. They like to hurt their primary sources, and that's how they relieve their inner feelings of inadequacy and so forth. Um, but to mainly put it to you, whenever you're out of their presence, they have to keep. Now think about this. Because they have other sources always at the ready that they're dealing with, they have to keep them entertained, right? They have to keep them in the loop so that the sources that are possible potentials don't stray away. So naturally, they have to always engage with these individuals at some point in time on a regular basis. So the narcissist, in more ways, hides the relationship, or if they're not hiding the relationship or the transactional partner, they are downgrading and devaluing them to the other sources as no significance, right? They'll say something like, well, you're just roommates, or you're still together, but it's complicated. It's not really like that. They're working on leaving and all of this, so that they paint the picture as you have no significance to them, which is true. Okay, this is all true, but to you, unbeknownst to you, to where you're not knowing what's going on behind your back when they're painting this picture to these other sources that they're looking to maybe not yet replace you with, but what they're doing is keeping these other sources at arm's reach. So at any time something goes wrong or they are ready to discard you, they can easily pull the next one up, like another pitcher from the bullpen or something like that. And if you watch baseball, but they can easily pull the next source up at the ready to replace you or to move on forward with, because they've already been working this individual while you were constantly away. At any moment that you're away, the narcissist isn't doing something constructive. They're out gaining and entertaining other sources all the time. They're not doing nothing positive. They're out there, making sure that their sources that they have lined up is still um, appeased by them so that they stick around. And so that's why I always say, when the primary source is away, the narcissist will play, and that is always. Make no mistake about it. They're always doing something when you're not around. They're always doing something behind your back. All right? Just wanted to throw that out there really quick. All right? Dallas, I'm going to be doing a Dallas tour. I'm going to be out in Dallas March 30th, okay, 2019. Be out in Dallas. It's going to be the Narcissist Recovery Tour. We're going to be focusing primarily on recovery, rebuilding yourself tactics, things that I use to get myself back and on the loop. We're going to talk about how to progress and you know, even if it comes to business or whatever career, reestablishing yourself and going to another level, and pushing forward from this situation, because you can reach a point where you get stagnated. And this is about pushing past the stagnation so that you're able to reach back to your fullest potential. So, Dallas, I'll be out there. The tour will be starting March 30th again. I'll leave a link in the box here in the description box, and there'll probably be something that'll pop up where you can go and click and get your, it'll take you where you can purchase tickets if you want to attend the event. So definitely want to check that out. Anyway, that's all I have to say for this video. Till next time, guys, love yourselves. Always keep your mind sharp and open. We'll talk to you next time.